Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. An update from Ukraine. First topic, the Russian massive drone attack on Ukraine and the, surgical drone attack conducted by Ukraine on Krasnodar Krai in Russia. Then we have the Russians telling us the terms, and it's kind of idiotic, the terms for deploying peacekeeping forces in Ukraine. So the Russians say, well, if you want to deploy foreign troops as peacekeepers in Ukraine, these are the terms, and I will read them for you. That comes from the Russia's envoy to United Nations, Mr. Nebenzia. And then the last topic, we find out that the West tries to intercept arms shipments between Russia and North Korea. Intercept, what does it mean? Does it mean that when a North Korean ship is going to go, or Russian ship is going to go with weapons, towards Russia, the West will intercept it with its military? Okay, what if that is just accompanied, by the Russian Navy? What will they do? Well, let's see and find out what these baboons are thinking of. So let's start with the article coming from Ukrainska Pravda, Monday, the 10th of February, 2025. Russia launches 83 drones on Ukraine overnight. None reach their target. None. Zero, man, zero. Good. That means you're winning. I mean, it's good news. I mean, civilians don't die. So they attacked Ukraine with 83 drones, and the Ukrainians destroyed 61 drones, while 22 have disappeared from radar. There you have exactly 83 drones. So what the Russians attacked? They attacked Kiev, Kharkiv, Poltava, Sumy, Chernihiv, Kirovohrad, Khmelnytsky, Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, Mykolaiv, and Kherson. So those are located here. Here is Khmelnytsky, Kiev, Chernihiv. And then you go to south. Here, Zaporozhye, Kharkiv, Kharkov, and Mykolaiv. So this area, not Odessa, not Vinnytsia, not the Polish side of Ukraine. Let's see where the Russians launched their drones. They did it from the cities of Kursk, Oryol, Milerovo, Shatalovo, Bryansk, and Primorsko-Akhtarsk. So let's start with Shatalovo, which last time I checked was in this area here in Smolensk. Then you got Bryansk, then you got Oryol, then you got Kursk, the usual suspects. Then you got Milerovo, and that is right where this weird thing is in Russia. And then you got Primorsko-Akhtarsk on the banks of the Sea of Azov, right here. So this is Primorsko-Akhtarsk. And then you got Milerovo in here. This is exactly in this location. And then you got the four cities up north, right here, and northeast. And according to Ukrinform, another Ukrainian media outlet, Ukraine's defense forces down 61 Russian drones, 22 lost from radar. That is, what? 83. Here they got what? 83. So that's good for the Ukrainians, I guess. That's good for the negotiations. The Russians have no teeth anymore. Next one. This is what the Ukrainians did to the Russians, according to the Ukrainians. Russia's Krasnodar Krai under drone attack, Vizio. We're not going to play the Vizio, but I'm going to show you where the Krasnodar Krai is located. And that is exactly here, Krasnodar right there. This is, let's see what the Russians say about the Krasnodar. Russia's defense ministry said air defenses shot down 2 drones over the region. This is according to the Russians. We don't want that. So let's see what else. Opa, something is going on here. Tell us about it. All right, the fire alarm started, so maybe I'm on fire. Someone attacked me. I don't think so. So, several powerful explosions and air defense operations in the administrative center of Krasnodar and the nearby city of Slavyansk on Kuban and were reported by residents. So they attacked technical structure, pop. Let's see in detail. New Voice of Ukraine. Drones target vital Russian oil and logistics hub. We're not going to play that one, but this is again what they claim they did. An overnight drone attack targeted Russia's administrative center of Krasnodar and one of the largest oil refineries in southern Russia. Peacekeeping Andriy Papapov, head of this guy, said. So it is capable of processing 6.25 million tons of oil per year and plays a strategic role in supplying fuel to the Russian military, not the civilians, only the military. It's located in Krasnodar Krai, makes it an important logistics center for the supply of diesel fuel and aviation kerosene used by the Russian army. Therefore, oil refinery is not only an industrial facility, but also an important element of Russian military infrastructure. So, when they hit something, they say it helps the military, but when the Russians hit something in the same way, no, that's for the civilian use. You know, same old garbage. But you're in a war, you gotta say that. So let's see the Russians' terms in accepting peacekeeping forces in Ukraine. When I read this, I was like, are you crazy? All right, why? Russia should not accept anything. I think in their position, according to the Russians, NATO attacked them. NATO came closer to them. NATO created panic. NATO got in Ukraine. Therefore, they are in a defensive war. That's how they view it. So now you got me out of my warm bed to come and slap you around a little bit. And now you want to negotiate? No, I'm going to make sure you never come in my neighborhood again to disturb my easy All right, let's see. Russia Today. Russia reveals terms for accepting foreign troops in Ukraine, something that will never happen. We'll see, never say never, right? Any deployment must be approved by the UN Security Council, Moscow envoy has said. You know, we have over there 2 veto powers in the United Nations Security Council, and there are Russia and China. So yeah, but my question is, let's say they decide to do it. I wonder when they will have a vote on Gaza deployment or in Syria. I'm listening intensively. I'm listening. Why? Why not? Well, you know, it's going to be United States of America. We're going to veto everything until those guys finish their action over there in Gaza, in the area, and they acquire more territory. The United States will make sure that nobody moves. And we are the good people. Why? We are owned. By whom? You know, I made my point so many times here. Russia will consider any foreign military forces deployed to Ukraine without the approval of the UN Security Council, that will never happen, legitimate targets. So that means you send someone over there without us and the United Nations Security Council's approval, we're gonna blow them up. Vasily Nebenzia, Moscow ambassador to the United Nations, has warned. Peacekeepers, that I'm quoting, cannot operate without a mandate from the United Nations Security Council. Otherwise, any foreign military contingents sent into the combat zone will be regarded as ordinary combatants under international law and legitimate military targets for our armed forces. Well. Did you see what's here? Sent into what? Into the combat zone. I think that's a mistake. Why? This is the combat zone, not Krasnodar Krai. I'm going to show you. This is the combat zone. So anything that's sent here will be targeted. What if they're right here? There's not combat zone, is it? Or is it? Now, what if they are over here? Combat zone? What if they're over here? The combat zone? So I think that's baboonish, because combat zone, I think, is right here. This is a front. Maybe I misunderstand the word, but by my reading, and since I'm a baboon, if these guys come over here, this is not a combat zone. This is the combat zone. Right here, and Kursk, and a little bit here in Belgorod, whatever, Kharkov, that's it. So that tells me that the Russians are saying they're imbeciles or something in combat. So that means, let's say tomorrow there's going to be 200,000 NATO troops in Ukraine, but not in the combat zone. Would that be okay? If you say yes, according to the baboon Nebenzia, then that means when the Russians are going to advance, and let's say they meet these guys in the before non-combat zone, now combat zone, do you think the NATO will say, yeah, okay, we're leaving, let everybody pack, let's go get your pop, and let's go out, retreat? Do you think that's what's going to be? They're going to say, no, 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 no. So I don't give these guys 1 inch, 0 inch. And regarding the United Nations Security Council approval, that would never happen. Why? For the same reason nothing happens in Gaza and other places over there, because of someone's veto, the good people's veto on that, how do you call it, instance. All right, let's see how these guys, the West, will intercept the arms shipments between two nations. How can you do that? I tell you how you can do it. By using your navy. Or, I don't know, you're gonna, how do you call that? You're gonna just stop them with a boom, 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 I don't know, railways. What are you gonna do? It seems like, all right, this is the article. Ukrainska Pravda. Russia-North Korea military ties can be curbed by intercepting arms shipments, NATO says. Why NATO intercepts that? Is NATO at war with any of these guys? Is it? I thought that these guys are in a defensive organization. Now, if they are, should they do the same thing with shipments from United States of America or NATO countries anywhere else in the world? I mean, that would be just, because if you say, well, I'm a defensive organization, NATO, and because I'm a defensive, I have to defend myself. How? I work, sometimes by creating a problem over there, creating a problem over there, so I stop you guys from building your military capabilities. All right, I agree with that. I agree with that. You should do that. But that is true for the enemies as well. They will think the same way. Let's switch the table and say, okay, I'm Russia, and for my personal self-defense and threats that I encounter from NATO, which expanded towards me. I didn't come to NATO. NATO came towards me. I will destroy all these guys. I will what? I will intercept the arms shipments from NATO countries to non-NATO countries, which are, let's say, South Korea, right? South Korea, if I remember correctly, is not a NATO country. Or I don't remember if Japan is, but I don't think it is, and many others. So should that work? And if you say no, I don't think you are a just person. You're just a subjective, interested person, interested in your own interest. So let's put that here. Let's see what these guys have in mind. Maybe I misread it. Okay, this war guy, he goes home and says, I told these guys what to do. NATO believes that Russia's cooperation with North Korea can be stopped. Should be? Are you the police force of the globe? Anybody voted for you? We like democracy so much. Among other things, by intercepting arms supplies. Intercepting. So what do? Right here. Increase diplomatic pressure on China. I mean, they said what they will do, the sanctions and all that, and the interceptions of arms shipments through intelligence. What's that? And naval cooperation. All right, let's see. Let's look at the map a little bit of the world, on the world map, and see how can they do it. And here is the world map, an easy way to see who's who as what. So we're talking about Russia and North Korea. Now, North Korea is here across from Japan, right? This is North Korea. So this is China here, and this is Russia. So they have here a border. So let's say the Russians are going to use their trains. So this guy's going to go from North Korea right there to Russia and Trans-Siberian, Rupi, Kutsu, and they go right here to Ukraine. So how can you do this? Are you going to blow up railways? I think that's what you can do. That's one thing. The other one, let's say you start shipments. You go around this, you go around here. Can you stop them? I mean, you are going to blow them up. What are you going to do? How can you intercept them? Are you going to use your navy to stop them like that? What if let's say the Russians use their fleet and they use their military, which each fleet, whatever transport, with their vessels, military, and the Americans are coming, excuse me, stop, and these guys are pum, 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 pum. What do you think will happen? That's what I would do. All right, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.